Hi guys, welcome to the final podcast of series 1 of the Yarn and Black. Tonight I've got Shiralee Hood with us, one of the most funniest people that I've ever met. Hi Shiralee.
Hello, how are you going out there, AJ?
Cool.
And hello to everyone.
I'm so glad that you could join us.
Woohoo! Yes, great to be here.
Yeah, Shiralee, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from? Who's your people?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Shiralee Hood. I'm Yunga, Kurnai, Gunditj Damara. So great to be here and always coming at you live with a bit of laughter.
Yeah, laughter. Guys, you'll be watching the interview. I'll be laughter as she's talking to us. Yeah. You've just been on tour. Tell us a little bit about the tour.
Oh yes, just got back. Nicely buggered and nicely toured around. But a big hello to South Victoria. We went, got to see a bit of the country. Hey, we saw a bit of Canberra, Batemans Bay, Warrnambool, Horsham.
That's good. How long was the tour for?
I'm in the middle of it. There was the first leg done, and then a tour with another mob, but Warrnambool and Horsham was it. And now we'll be in Melbourne. We'll be in Melbourne on the 3rd of March.
Cool. And this is by the 3rd of March. So guys, you probably get to see the details. I'll get the details from Shiralee and I'll stick it at the bottom of the YouTube so you know exactly when to do it.
And for everyone out there, hope you got there. It'll be fun.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into comedy.
Ooh, comedy. I've always loved storytelling and telling our stories our way. I did a bit of acting and of course I love radio as well, broadcast. And then I thought someone came up with a great idea. Jason Tamaru came up with a great idea to start a Deadly Funny competition. You know, why are we living in Melbourne in the World International Melbourne Comedy Fest, and there are not many Aboriginal comedians, First Nation comedians. So I put my name down as a statistic to be in the competition. And as soon as I found out I could talk about things really fast and I could be as funny as I want, I talked about family stuff, I talked about life from my point of view, and about being a woman, about being Black, about being left-handed, you know, and I got to talk straight to the people and we all laughed together. I love that.
Yeah, I've been to see one of your shows and I think I laughed from the moment you started talking. The end of the show that didn't seem to want to end either.
Well, it's like life, isn't it? You know, life keeps going on to the next mountain, you know, then you climb the next one, there's another one there, and there's another one there. And so you got to keep, that's why laughter is so important, man. Laughter's the best medicine.
Yeah. What does make you laugh?
Lots of things. Family makes me laugh. Watching our political climate makes me laugh. You know, you have to laugh at everything, really, you know, even some of the saddest thing. Good comedy comes from tragedy. So I tell you what, I've had a lot of tragedy and carry on in my life. So there's lots of comedy and material, you know. So you just have to learn how to word it and get it out there in a funny way.
Yeah. Do you find that... You find a lot of the audiences, sorry?
No, I find that within our families, within First Nation families, we all have a sense of humour. And when these shocking things have happened to us, we still come through as being really strong. And it's our connection to land and laughter and life, you know? So I sort of plug into our family for that.
Yeah. So do you script your gig or do you go with the flow on the night?
There's a good mix of it, because you do go in there after doing a lot of work, you know, because there's a lot of editing that goes on in comedy as well. You know, you have to get as much as you can in short periods of time. So you have to speak fast, or, you know, there's a rhythm. Comedy's about timing as well. So we get as much in as possible, and we're editing a lot because you want to sort of speak to the audience at the time.
But you've had a life outside of comedy as well.
Yes.
I remember during one of your shows, you talked a bit about working in the justice system, for example.
Yes, that's right. I think our brothers and sisters on the inside, and especially our children, the juvenile prisons on the inside, really need us, and need us all to be able to go in as a community. And I've really worked at doing that, and just bringing cultural education, you know, bringing our spirit into these crazy places where our people are overrepresented and locked up continuously, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we as a community just need to be aware, because I do comedy on the side. I mean, you know, it pays, I do a lot, but I also make sure I do comedy for people who don't always get a voice, you know?
Yeah. Do you actually find that a lot of people in the juvenile justice system don't know much about culture?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, a lot of our uncles and aunties come from the juvenile prisons, you know, and they were put through that system as wardies, you know, as wardies back in the day. And like, as we see the young ones come through, it's because they've lost their family connection. It's because they've been taken away from their mothers. This stuff is still going on, and we've got 20,000 of our children in non-Aboriginal care. Like, internationally, that's a shame, man. People are not allowed to take other people's children, because what happens to our language? What happens to our spirit? You know, and we've got young kids stuck in between two worlds. And I see a lot of those young people in the prisons where they find they're not being looked after as their parents, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and we need to have a look at that, because a lot of their stories begin like that. That's why I go into comedy, because we've got to be able to have these conversations and still keep our spirit and laugh. It's hard work, but I found comedy helps me to be able to speak about it, you know, speak about the politics. I speak about, you know, we should have built that Abbott-proof fence, man. You know?
Yeah.
Holy many, ticks, bloodsucker mongrels.
Yeah.
You know? And it's really important for us to be able to talk about living as First Nations in this country, you know?
How do you find the political agendas at the moment with, you know, like constitutional rights and the yes vote and the no vote and the Uluru Statement?
Wow. It is such a massive explosion. I think of this country as like a stolen vehicle, a stolen car, and it's been stolen, taken from us, and driven around. Donuts were happening all over the place. They're just using and abusing this car, right? Then 200 years later, they come back to apologise. They pull up in our driveway and they go, beep, beep. Hey, you fellas, come outside. I've got something to tell you. I've got something to tell you. Now, come on, you'll love it. Come outside. Beep, beep. Hey, we stole your car. Sorry. And they're still driving it. And that's what I say, okay then. They didn't even leave a Duggarang car in the driveway, you know. And Duggarang is ancient Aboriginal for 180B Datsun. So they didn't even leave a, you know, 180B Datsun in the driveway for us. That would be our treaty, right? That would be our treaty. We could drive that car however we wanted. I think the voice and like constitutional reform is that they want us to get into that big car, you know, and they're not going to put us in the driver's seat, you know. They're not going to put us in the driver's seat. We won't even get shotgun. We won't even get the front seat. We'll probably be put in the glove box as the voice, you know.
Yeah.
Or down over near the exhaust. Yeah. And you know what's good for exhaust? Smoked deal. Smoked salmon. Damn. Yeah. It's a weird thing, and if we get to see the two thought processes clearly, then we get to make a decision whichever one people will think will benefit us.
Yeah.
So I handled that like a politician or a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I don't exactly know what the answer was, but you gave a really good response.
That's how you do it, man.
Yeah.
No, but it is such a big issue. You got to be careful. You know, I'm involved in different things, and I'd always believe we should have a voice. But I'm looking at, like, you know, is this another like buzzword for people to be talking about? Yeah. You know, because we've had native title, we've had reconciliation. Yeah. You know, we've really got to look. I think if people were really, really true about our climate change situation, I think that we should have an Aboriginal Minister for the Environment. Yeah. You know, so it's like, let's all think out of the box, man. But I'm noticing all our young ones, good on you, all our young ones, the next generation are really more open to equality. Yeah. So we're working, you know, as we work with the next generation, it's a really great learning. So with comedy, I get to do a lot of that. Yeah, for the young people.
How do you define reconciliation?
Well, I always go back to what it was, which was, you know, Paul Keating made a Redfern address, and the beginning of that was the money was brought up and told for every country in Australia, and we've got hundreds of Aboriginal First Nations countries. It's like Europe, you know. You go a couple of hours and there's new language and a new style, new food. You know, I think, yeah, when he did the address, he put that money away for all of the different countries to have treaty conversations over 10 years. But then when John Howard got in, it became reconciliation money. Yeah. And the only difference I saw was, you know, at the beginning, people were going, hello, are you Aboriginal? And at the end, they were going, are you Aboriginal or Indigenous? Yeah. So, you know, if you really want to get to know me, I think come and learn my country name. If you know a First Nation person, ask their country. They'll tell you a bit more about the world you live in, you know, that we all live in. Brr.
And I think you brought up a really good point there about Paul Keating and reconciliation, because people always think it's always Kevin Rudd and the apology, but we have to go back, you know, before the Howard decade to Paul Keating that stood up at Canberra and actually said and used really strong words about we desiccated and massacred and raped. He used those big words at that particular time.
Absolutely. And he did. And he kicked off a lot of great thoughts. And, you know, he might have been one of Kevin Rudd's, you know, inspirers. We don't know. Yeah. You know, but it is funny because we're on the anniversary of the 13th of February today, yes, on the anniversary of the day that the government said sorry, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, in comedy, I've proposed that this date may be used as a change the date kind of date. You know, I put it forward, or I said, you can wait for the next day and we do it on Valentine's Day, and that way, you know, we'll give you flowers and you can give our land back. So always got to have a look at it, you know. But I always was happy with Kevin Rudd, you know. You know, he's the only one who had balls enough to say sorry, bless his big white balls.
Yeah.
I will always say, yeah.
What did the apology mean to you?
My mum and my dad were both taken and grown up in missions by nuns and things and pushed out when they were young. So they went through, you know, we've got photos of them in the camps, you know, and they were like Auschwitz camps, man, you know. They took away my mother's childhood and my grandmother's and my father's and my father's fathers by putting us on those missions and growing us up as something different. The government had to say sorry someday. And I took it from my mum. She said she felt her shoulders lift. And I thought that was a good thing. If our people who are denied lives with family got to feel something that day, it's definitely worth it. And someone should have to say sorry for that atrocious genocide, you know? Yeah. So I always take it straight. You know, it's hard being the first generation of children growing up with parents who were taken away and never knew family, you know. So finding family and going back to family over the years was a really big growing experience and a part of First Nations people's lives, you know. A lot of non-Aboriginal people out there have conversations about accounting and investments and, you know, finances, whereas we're having conversations about where are our families, you know. Did we realise we had that many brothers and sisters, you know? Where's this person? Different conversations in a different world. So it's great to be a comedian.
Yeah. Now you got
talk about it.
You got siblings, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. I've got.
How many's in your family?
We got too many now. There's 6 boys and 5 sisters all up. I got.
Oh, 11.
So my mum and dad's side. So I love it. You know, always when you've got a big family, there's always somewhere to go for a cup of tea. And if you've ever got a problem, you know, it only takes 1 or 2 of us to have a party. It's always really good. And you know, there's always some material when you got family. You know, there's always some sort of material coming at you, man, coming at your life.
Is family scared to tell you stuff just in case it becomes part of your act?
Oh, yeah, you got mixed. Sometimes you got the ones who like are stepping on the stage, grabbing the microphone. Hey, we have microphone fights too, mate.
Yeah.
You got to work. Yeah. Sometimes they want to sit back, and we got the shy ones, and other half family want to jump on the mic too. So it's good fun to see who ends up on the mic.
Yeah.
But great being a comedian. It's a natural thing, I think, for First Nations people. So, you know, if people are out there just looking, you know, if you think life is crazy and tragic, have a look at making it and twisting it, because, you know, it sort of becomes a life that you can cope with when you're having a laugh. Yeah.
Is your audience mainly Aboriginal people, or is it non-Indigenous people, or a big mixture of both?
Oh, all sorts. I love it. I do cricket jokes. I've got like Asian fans. So hello to everybody out there. I've got black and white. You know, it's great having the different audiences, you know. But I recently have just done Horsham, and a big hello to all the Horsham mob. We had a really good, strong
my mob's from out there.
Both. Eh?
My mob's from out there. We're watchable.
True, AJ. They looked after us very well. They're deadly fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had a strong black and white crowd, and they all loved it. It was at the town hall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Brr. So, hey, to Horsham. Wajabalik mob.
Yeah. Have you ever had one of those audiences where things didn't go right?
You always think so. I remember thinking I did, you know, I was thinking the first time I bombed, and it was a crazy feeling, and not many people were laughing. You could hear giggles around, but sort of I'd heard a crowd before laugh, and when they laughed, it was loud, and I couldn't hear that. So I did my work and moved off and put the headliner on, and afterwards I was a bit embarrassed to go out, but as soon as I went out, they just went, "Oh, thank you, you know, we've had a big, you know, law death in the family, and it was very hard for us to laugh." So it was a bit quiet, but we all heard it. When's your CD come out? You know, it's like, yeah, I better start working on it. Yeah. Make sure I bring it out. Because I love to talk lots about different things that happen in life, you know, like about our Aboriginal tent embassy.
Yeah. Having
the tent embassy, and how, you know, how after 50 years we're still in tents, you know, and it's intense. I know, let's move into the original Parliament House, man. The original Parliament.
What's in there at the moment?
It's a democracy museum.
Okay.
So that's a funny thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I think they should, you know, and as a country, we need to sort of stand and and take that as our embassy. I only say we need an embassy because in Canberra too, every country around the world has an embassy that they can go to and say the government isn't treating us right.
Yeah.
The only people like us Aboriginal people, you know, the First Nations, because we've got deaths in custody, we've got children being taken away, we've got stolen wages, all these bad things are happening, and we don't have anybody to go to. the Australian government to say, stop crying to us. So we need an embassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think we could get one?
Well, we've already got one. It's the tent
Yeah.
embassy.
Yeah.
However, we need an establishment. It's hard work when you're in winter doing that, you know. I've been there for 3 years, been through the winter.
Yeah.
Hard work, you know, let alone, you know, all the fellas who are still there, like staying on strong every day. They've got, they're dealing with the weather and, you know, how can we defend when we're that cold all the time? We need a building.
Yeah.
And that's my final word.
Yeah.
Poly meaning many ticks, bloodsucker mongrels. Yeah. And Canberra's built the same way politicians talk. Lots of roundabouts and dead ends. Roundabouts and dead ends, yeah.
Yeah. Have you performed in Canberra?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
It was one of my first, actually, comedy festivals.
Yeah.
So I was really pleased to be a part of the inaugural Canberra Comedy Fest. And the comedy gala. It was great.
Okay. I just thought the Parliament was a comedy show itself.
That's hilarious. See how I did that? Then I went to business. See how I did that? Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, at least I get paid to make people laugh. These people, these politicians, they should get to their work, you know. Yeah. But I mean, you know, with comedy, because my mum always wanted me to be a lawyer, you know, and you know, I went and did 2 years of law, but I found it hard to be gagged and not allowed to speak, you know. So yeah, so when you get let out the box, it's a good thing to go and talk and say a lot. But I had to ring home and say, yeah, I'm going to be a comedian.
Yeah. What was their response?
Tears, mate, tears. I still hear her crying. It's hilarious. Oh, no. Yeah. But so I managed to turn it to a business, you know, where you do go on tours and you set up shows and, you know, you always speak about different things. Like, you know, I've got books that I sit and just write and write and write. Yeah, and they're all over my desk. It's like, you know, when you have that sort of fun, then you take out all your books and you rewrite jokes and you put together other jokes and you make sets. Yeah. And, you know, you have a look at different themes. Yeah. And because I've done shows like Rock the Boat, the Melbourne International Comedy Fest, Rock the Boat. So I spoke about, like, you know, the boat issue that was in Australia, you know. Yeah. I spoke about, you know, those, like the headlines being stop the boat. Yeah, we've tried to stop the boats for over 250 years. You know, and, you know, the Titanic story, you know, Titanic story. It's also a boat story about love and survival. I think white fellas call it the Titanic. And so, you know, rock the boat. And that was about, you know, don't always do what you're told. You got to question the world. Yeah. And then also did another one called Planet of the Apps, the rise of the Planet of the Apps. Yeah, talk about how we've changed for so long, you know. Like, you know, these days when a phone call doesn't go through in 2 seconds, you get really angry, you know, what's going on? And I remember the days when you'd have to walk down and go to the phone box and do the whole dialing system.
Yeah.
9, 9, 8, 1, 1. You know, then they'll say something like hello, and then you hang up. Start again. 9. Yeah, so that's really fun. So I love to talk about life.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you have any role models?
Any role models?
Yeah.
Yes, well, definitely. I mean, you know, my mum and my dad, my nan, aunties, cousins. Yeah. A lot of people who stood up when it was hard, you know. Bobby Sykes.
Yeah. Bobby Sykes books.
Kath Walker. Yeah. Lionel Fogarty, I've grown up with his writing. Yeah. Always, you know. My goddad, Gary Murray. Yeah. You know. But I was blessed with a lot of positive people around me. So I'm really happy for that. Every now and then I've got to go to a concert, you know, go and see, like, you know, Rihanna. Go and get a bit of, you know, I wanted to go and see Dave Chappelle, but man, I was touring, Dave, so get me out there somewhere. Yeah. So he was in Australia while I was touring around. I was in Bateman's Bay when he was in Wollongong. So it was only the other day. I think his last one was last night. So yeah. So, you know, you need to get, like, I love watching comedians, you know. I've always loved Cheryl Underwood. I've always loved Leslie Jones. Yeah. You know, and people who speak their minds and speak, loud and have fun, you know. Yeah. I think that's the name of the game when you're doing comedy, you know. Have fun and make sure you enjoy sharing, you know, sharing your life, really.
So you would say this is your ideal job?
Yeah, yes. I like my life, you know, at the moment. I think if you've mixed with, like, comedy, my life's mixed with comedy, culture, family, you know, and making sure we look after each other, you know. Been through a lot of sadness too. Lost my younger sister, lost my mum, you know, and lost my father. That was 20 years ago, but lost my mum and sister for 4 and 5 years ago. So, you know, sort of you go through different stages in life, and you need to find something that pulls you back. Thank goodness comedy did that for me. You know, helped me speak about it and helped me laugh. And music too, music.
What music do you like?
I love the old 90s stuff, but I like Cardi B lately. Yeah. And little Lizzo, so loving it.
Was there any award? Was there any award that she didn't get?
She worked for it and she's never had any fear about being herself. Yeah. And that's what we love. Yeah. So, you know, and great music, man. Yeah. Yeah. So always good like that. Music and comedy go hand in hand, I reckon. Good music.
Do you think we'll actually ever see the Shiralee Hood, the musical?
Woohoo! Yes, you will. It'll be a great one. It'll be a good one. Yeah, definitely. Lots of material out there, and you got good fun stuff, and you know, all sorts of crazy things that happen. You know, which I love. I mean, I went and I did, you know, Adam Liao's The Cook Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that call, and I was a special guest on Adam Liao's The Cook Up this year
cool.
too.
Has
Yeah,
it been on TV already?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
Yes, so it's out there. Just check it out. Yeah, Shiralee Hood with Adam Liao.
Yeah.
Special guest, I do 4 different dishes.
Oh, what did you do?
Yeah, different themes, different rounds. Chili mussels with a side of garlic bread. Fish curry, a quick fish curry, and coconut, beautiful coconut curry. Spicy chicken drumsticks for when you have 100 kids over. Chicken drumstick each for them with a serviette wrapped around the bottom, bang. And salmon, honey and soy salmon.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. You don't muck around, eh? Cooking should be as strong. Yeah, man. Comedy, cooking, culture, that's the way. Yeah. And so yeah, check me out on there. And I also did, I was a guest on Kutcha Edwards, Kutcha's karaoke. Yeah.
Oh,
Kutcha's karaoke carpool. Yeah. Brrr. So
we'll check that one out.
Yeah.
We'll check that one out.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, everybody, yeah, check that out. Kutcha's karaoke carpool, mixed with deadly artists from around the country, First Nations artists, and then myself as a personality around Fitzroy jumps in and out the car, and the other one, our dear and belated Uncle Jack Charles. He was the other personality who jumped in, you know. Love Uncle Jack. I knew him from a movie I did when I was 19. Woohoo! Yeah, like 3 years ago. No, again.
Was it a colour movie? Was it a colour movie or still black and white?
Yeah, exactly. He played my grandfather long time ago. So, you know, I've really missed. We've had a big year of celebrity deaths this year, and not just celebrity. I say celebrity because they're well known, but like even within our families, you know, we had really strong family members pass away. You know, so you know, I just want to acknowledge that too and give love to everybody out there, because after a bit of time, it does heal, you know.
Yeah. I met Uncle Jack probably about 10 years ago, and we're on a panel together at my university, and we were talking, and he was talking to me, like he asked me when I was born and stuff like that, and I didn't know that he recorded it down somewhere, because every year on my birthday I'd get a message from Uncle Jack either through his Facebook account, basically going, hi Bros, just to say happy birthday to you, every year. And
that's how special he is, man.
Yeah.
See?
He took time to remember people, and any time I ran into him any other time, he always remembered who I was. Like, he never forgot that time that we're on the panel together, that he goes, because he goes, AJ, you made me laugh just as much as I made everyone else laugh.
That's right. You appreciate people who share spirit too, you know. And he was personal. Yeah. You know, he cared about people.
He did.
Love ya. Yeah.
No. Well, I've got a couple of last questions for you. And one question is that we have a lot of Aboriginal people at the moment that are learning about their Aboriginality. Where would you get them to start their journey? Where would you?
Where would you get them? I mean, always you've got to be connected to the land and the bush somehow. You've also got to be connected to elders and community. So whether you start just contacting your local people to find out, maybe even through looks, where you come from. You know, a lot of people found their way home. Putting your back up against a tree and speaking to the bush, always a good one. Having a look at the bird life, having a look at the animal life. Your connection to land is really important. And also, like, go back and find out where you come from and what your language was, you know? Go and find that out, because I find that every day we put a lot of time into the white side of life, the non-Aboriginal world, you know? What we need to do is also, if we put 6 hours into the white world, we put 6 hours into our Aboriginal world, you know? So that you know, if you put 2 hours that way, you put 2 hours that way. We should at least put a couple of hours a day, whether to learn language, to cook, or to connect with elders and family, you know? I think going into and looking after community, number one, you know? Go and check out your community.
Yeah. That's great advice. The other question I've got is, what makes a good ally?
What makes a good ally? Oh my goodness. I think just being yourself and letting Aboriginal, original First Nations people be themselves too, you know, so that we can be ourselves and, you know, talk about our world, talk about our Australia, talk about our life, you know. It's really important that which I've noticed, you know, I've noticed there are a lot of great people out there, and a big hello to all our allies and all our people, you know. Like, yeah, some of my best friends are white, so come on, you know, we're all together, and it's about, you know, like, because we've got our dark blacks, we've got our mid blacks, we got our honey blacks, we got our light blacks too. We got 50 shades of black, you know. So a big hello to all of our undercover Koreas as well. You keep strong and make sure you know that you are, because, you know, it's not about colour, it's about spirit. It's about spirit. And you'll know, you know, if you want to identify, you learn as much as you can. Yeah.
My second last question is, what's something that people don't often know about you?
Oh, okay.
I never said the interview was going to be easy.
Nah, that's funny. Nah, great question. What is something that people don't often know about me? Oh, wow. Wow, there's lots you don't know about me. Yeah, I'm a lot smarter than I look. I'm a lot funnier than I look. I mean, at a lot of venues, I get picked up by the security and told to wait there, you know? I went down to the Defence Force and I was pushed to the side, and as I was walking in, the boys were a lot quicker at walking, so they let all the boys walk in, and then they stopped me and said, you know, oh, we don't want their women to come in as well, only the performers. And I just went, I am a performer. Yeah, it was hilarious. I ended up just running amok that night. It's funny how you learn. Yeah, it's funny how you learn as you get to know the business, like what a crazy world it is, and you use that craziness for laughter and material. So good job. Well, hey, thank you everyone out there. Thanks, AJ.
No, thank you for joining us. I want to just say, I want people to know it took a while for us to connect. to
Yes.
get onto this. So I'm so glad that you were able to make time in the middle of your tour as well.
Yes.
To
Yeah, that's right. And busy, so I'm really pleased to be a part of it. And if everyone out there, if you get a chance to come to a show, Shiralee Hood, I'll see you there. It'd be a great show.
Well,
Really
thank you
love
very
that,
much. Love you, Shiralee. And
love you. Thank you.
And guys, I'll see you guys at the next podcast. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. See you, AJ. Good work, man. Brr.